Okay, y'all. So here we go. Testimony time. The Lord has been pressing me. He's been talking to me. We've been going through some things in my mind. So I used to think that like your testimony was only for like if you really went through something or if you really been through something. But that's not my testimony, right? Like God didn't save me from drugs. He didn't save me from abuse. He didn't save me from violence. I praise God that I didn't have to go through any of that. He didn't save me from homelessness or poverty. He saved me from like myself, right? He saved me from my own selfishness. He saved me from my own sinful nature. He saved me from the war that the enemy had waged on my life. He has redeemed me. He is restoring me. He is renewing me. And he is continuing to make me into like this new person. I am not the person that I used to be today. I am transformed. I am different. But the thing is that none of my transformation has really been external. It hasn't been something that you can just look at me and see like, man, she's really been through this, or man, the Lord must have brought her out of this. Like, it's nothing that you would know unless I took the time to tell you. It's the war on my mind that he has saved me from. It's how I used to think about things. I tell people like I used to be so selfish, ridiculously selfish, like only cared about me. My mother used to call me out about it all the time and I didn't want to hear it because I didn't care. It's my life. It should be about me. Like that is literally how I used to think. When I was 18, I had an abortion. Probably hands down the most selfish thing I could have ever done. I have ever done. And I used to just have relationships with people or friendships and it all just be about how does this benefit me? If it doesn't benefit me, why should I? It's a waste of time. Like what in the world? But that was my thought pattern. The Lord now has turned me into these roads, y'all, has turned me into a much more generous person. And I can say that I genuinely care about people now, that I'm not just thinking for myself. But that's not something that I did. That went against my natural nature. And now, praise God, I can think of others. And I just trust God with myself so that I don't have to worry about self. I trust God with that. And now I get to be used to serve, to be kind, to be generous. So when I say things like, man, I'm actually a nice person now, or man, I actually care about people now, like people look at me like, what do you mean? Like that was not always the case. I am telling you. And then because of selfishness, like I would just live a ridiculously rebellious life because I wanted to, because it's my life. And the Lord has kept me. Like the fact that I am still alive and breathing today is because of the grace of God, period. There are so many times, not because of anything that the world did to me, but because of my own stupid decisions, my own rebellious nature, my own selfishness that got me into situations that I should not have come out of, but the Lord allowed me to come out of. I don't even know if I can really count how many times like I should not be alive, if that makes sense. Like how many times my life should have been ended, whether it's driving when I shouldn't have been driving, recklessly driving, drugs or alcohol, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like there are so many things, so many reasons why I shouldn't be here. And it gets to a point, or it got to this point where it's like I wake up and I'm like, yo, why am I still awake, God? Like what is going on? I should not be here right now. And that's really where I started investigating and praying about purpose. Like, there has to be a reason that I am still alive, because I don't deserve to be alive. There has to be something that the Lord has kept me alive to do or for. And now I was raised in a Christian household, so I knew the Lord. Again, I'm telling you, like all of this is self-inflicted. It's me, it's my selfishness, my rebelliousness, and the things that the enemy has tried to do in my mind. We'll get into that in a second. So like, yeah, that's where I really started investigating purpose and trying to just figure out like, all right, God, what's up? My testimony is not like one of those, oh my gosh, like it's not like that. But I know like if I have this testimony, then there have to be other people who is like, my life hasn't been horrible, it's been good. Right? I have a good life. I've had a good life my entire life. Praise God for the family that he put me in. yet I've still been through stuff, yet I've still struggled with things, yet the Lord has still had to save me from me. And then I didn't even know this, you guys, as I was really living through it and going through it, but like the enemy had declared war on my life like early, which is why I think it's very important that kids be in church, that even if you don't believe, like you don't really know, you need to be covered by the blood, because the enemy is out here searching and hunting. And these are things that God has revealed to me more recently. But like, I used to have intrusive thoughts like crazy, like, hey, go stab this person with a pencil, or hey, go punch this person in the face, or hey, you're chopping something with a knife, stab yourself. Like all of these thoughts just like intruding in my head, like in there, and I can't like get them out. They praise God, and that's what I mean, like you need to be covered in blood, because I never acted on them, but they were there. The Lord was fighting that battle for me, and I did not even know it. Like I was completely unaware that the enemy was just like attacking my mind in that way. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that I did know God, even if I wasn't surrendered. You know, like even if he didn't have my whole life, I still knew him enough for him to be able to keep me through all of that. I used to have so many like suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, like, hey Heather, why don't you just drive your car into oncoming traffic? Or you could drive off this bridge right now. And I think the reason those thoughts always came while I was driving is because it could be deemed like an accident. Like no one would ever suspect I actually committed suicide, you know, like, but that would be the way to end things. Fine, because I was just like, this is pointless. I'm doing the same thing every day. Why am I doing this? What is the point of me living? This life is not what I signed up for. And again, a good life, but just maybe selfish or unfulfilled. Maybe that's a better word, because when we're living for ourselves, like our life will never be fulfilling. It will never be satisfying. So even though we get to do whatever we want, we get to have whatever experiences we're wanting, like the life is not fulfilling. I wasn't happy. I didn't have joy, the joy that I have today. So yeah, those thoughts, those things were still desires of mine, even though someone from the outside looking in or coming from a different situation may have looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what in the world? You got a good life. Why do you want to kill yourself? I don't know. The enemy, right? The enemy will make us want to do things that like we should have no business wanting to do. So, and whenever like a thought of that happened, it wasn't me that stopped me. It was just the love of the Lord, I guess, or God showing me that I did have people who loved me and cared about me. I'd be like, I would literally be praying in the car like, all right, Lord, be with my family, help them through this tough time, and like be with them while I'm gone. And then the Lord would just keep tugging on me like, they're gonna miss you, and like all of these things. And every time be like, okay, fine, I won't. And I would just keep driving to wherever I was going. And then like, I don't know, eventually it's like I went through a whole day and it was just like, oh, Heather, you didn't think about driving into oncoming traffic today. What's going on there? And like the Lord has just been really working in me and transforming my life so that I enjoy it, so that I do have the joy of the Lord, so that I am understanding and walking in my purpose, and that is fulfilling, that is satisfying. And now I'm living a life that I actually want to live, and not a life that I want to just end. I think I'm living a life with purpose. It's not pointless to me anymore. But again, like all of these things, looking at me, you would not know it. And I know like there are people out here who are struggling, but we can't. I tell y'all, my phone is overheated like 5 times since I've been recording this. Anyway, I know there's people out here who like feel what I used to feel, and I'm telling you that God can turn it around. God can let you see that your life is worth it, and you do have purpose. He is not keeping you alive for no reason. There is a purpose. He wants you to know his love. He wants you to live in his love. He wants you to thrive in his love. He wants you to help others to see his love. You guys, we don't have to have this like, and praise God when he does do like the huge and the wonderful and the what, God turned your life from what to what type of testimonies. But I'm telling you, like, there is power in the blood. There is power in having the Spirit of God living on inside of you, because he changes who you are. This is not about our circumstances. God has done many and mighty and wonderful, miraculous things in my life as well, externally, right? Like he has maintained a standard of living that I myself would not have been able to maintain. I'm not discounting anything that he has done for me. But what I'm telling you is that just like he can do things on the outside, just like he can remove people from certain situations, he can do even greater things on the inside, and actually changing the fabric of our being, changing how we have learned to live and exist in the world to become who he created and destined and designed for us to be. We just gotta give him the chance, give him the chance to work on your heart, to work on your mind. Let him combat all the things the enemy is trying to put up against you, and watch you win in the end.